Welcome to Spotlight. I'm your host, Amitha. Join me weekly as I talk to guests who will share their success stories and inspirational events. Actor, writer, producer. Our guest today is soaring to great heights with the multiple projects that he is part of. He is in town for the Canadian premiere of The Journey is the Destination film and photography exhibition. The film had its world premiere at TIFF in September 2016. It's my pleasure to welcome to our show Mr. Gugun Deep Singh. Gugun, it's nice to have you here today.
It's great to meet you, Amitha.
So we are looking forward to hearing about the film and the exhibition, but first of all, tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, it's nice to be home. I'm originally from Toronto, Canada.
Nice.
So to be here and to get to represent this film at a very prestigious photography in conjunction with the Scotiabank Contact Photography Festival, it's a great honor, and to bring this story to people, because we work very hard on the film and the artwork, the inspiration that we drew for the film all came from the artwork, and for people to get to see the artwork now is really exciting, and so we have this opportunity for people to see a little bit, a glimpse of his life, and what we believe is a glimpse of his energy as well. And The Journey is the Destination.
Amazing. So yeah, it's a biopic of photojournalist and activist Dan Eldon. So we'll get to that in a bit, but you are playing a major character in the movie. But were you always an actor, or did you have anything before you became an actor?
Well, yeah, I first was on a path to becoming a physician, working in medicine. I was in college. I just finished high school, and I was deciding what I wanted to do. But the clear thing was that I had to just keep going. I had to keep going with this particular path. And the interesting thing was, throughout my studies, even since middle school, I would always have a drama course or a theater class. It just let me express myself. It let me, throw off some steam and, explore something that wasn't maybe typical. And I'd even come home and I'd talk about all the stuff that I did in drama class, and my parents wanted to know, right, but how are your marks? How are your marks in science and English and math?
Relate, yes.
Sure, but they wanted to see me excel in whatever discipline it was. And there came a point about 2.5, 3 years into these medical studies, pre-medical studies, that I was like, I have to scratch this itch. I have to do something about it. And an opportunity, just sort of the timing of things came about, that I just put out all these applications, and a number of schools accepted me, and I ended up at a school in Chicago. It's now called the Theater School at DePaul University. Wow. I did not know that it was a Catholic school. But I showed up, and it's a very highly regarded school. It has a great long history. Wonderful performers have come out of there. And I proceeded to fall on my face for a year straight because I was a perfectionist. I wanted to get everything correct, most intellectually correct. And we were doing things involving feelings and experimenting with improvisation, and I had never done that. So I spent a year failing. And in turn, it actually ended up becoming the best thing that could have happened to me, because I needed to get back in touch with myself here. And that was really, that was key to the beginning of my journey as an artist.
Wow, quite impressive. It requires quite a bit of disciplining, following the pre-medical field, but at the same time, also keeping those courses of drama, arts in mind. And you're here today because of that hard work and perseverance, and you have an impressive portfolio. But when did you get your first break, whether it be in theater or film?
I'm now working, my focus is more on film and television, although I love to do theater as well. I guess I could describe my first real step forward as a professional was when I came back to California. I had just finished school in New York City. And I came, actually, partly it was also my mom had surgery, and so she was getting better. Her knee was all functional again. And I got back and I thought I'd help her. She didn't need any help. No, my mom's tough. And
the good son.
yeah, well, you know, I was concerned about that, but it was like a little bit of a break. I'd been in New York for a little while. And I thought, okay, I'll go for like 3 weeks, you know. And in the meantime, during those 3 weeks, I just see what's going on. It is Los Angeles. There's a lot of film and television work. And I book a movie and I book a play.
Nice.
And in that short amount of time, and I thought, okay, maybe this is a sign.
Exactly.
Maybe this is a sign.
Blessings. Mom's blessings too.
Mom's blessings too. And it was indeed Mr. Albert Brooks, the well-known filmmaker and actor and comedian who gave me my first break. He brought me into a room and asked me if I can laugh all night if I needed to, and I said yes. And we ended up having a scene just outside of Los Angeles for this very funny movie called Looking for Comedy in the Muslim World. That was my first film.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's your hard work and they were impressed by your audition, so you were doing all the right things, and definitely, yeah, the universe was throwing it back at you because you were putting it out to the universe as well.
Yeah.
And that's why, like I mentioned, you have quite an impressive portfolio. We'll be talking about the journey is the destination, but beyond the journey is the destination, what are some of the memorable projects that you have been part of?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I've gotten the opportunities where I've gotten to learn while I'm working have been really wonderful. The one that comes to mind the most was I had an opportunity to be on set for one of the big Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Nice.
And the great lesson of that was about 70 extras, all these gentlemen, all this really important scene, basically got to spend a week on set watching Mr. Johnny Depp do what he does best. And that was one of the greatest teaching experiences I could have seen, because this great professional was just sharing his gifts with us.
Nice. Well, like I said, you have a lot of discipline, hard work, passion that, you know, exudes in what you're doing today. So I'm sure you will get better projects and more projects and so to greater heights. Nice. So now we would like to talk about the film, but before that, it's time for a short break. Welcome back to Spotlight. We are talking to Mr. Gugun Deep Singh. He is an actor in the film The Journey is the Destination. So, as we heard, you were part of this amazing project, and now it's being, you know, filmed. So, tell us a bit about the film.
Well, yes, it's being shown on Sunday the 7th in Etobicoke, in conjunction with an exhibit of Dan Eldon's artworks at the. That's part of the Scotiabank Contact Photography Festival. My role in the film, in The Journey is the Destination, was Mohammed Shafi. They called him Mo for short. Mo Shafi was a very highly regarded Reuters photojournalist, often working with Betacams, capturing video in conflict regions on the African continent. He was originally from Nairobi, Kenya. Was a family man there, but you know, it's a tough life as someone working in these regions. He had actually been born and raised in Kenya, so and as a Muslim as well. So he had a range of different experiences that really informed the work he did. But he was well known for also being quite a gentleman and a gentle man, a very soft-spoken and very protective of his people. You know, wanting to make sure that they were delivering good stuff, but you know, always measuring, being very careful and calculating, and because he wanted to make sure his people were all right, because this is not an easy environment, and as a leader, he also had to set the tone. So he and Dan Eldon ended up having a very close camaraderie. And Shafi was the one who lived, in a way. And it's although I like to, having studied it now and having gone through it, I kind of feel like a part of him died that day, and he just simply stayed with us. He walked the earth a little longer, but he was never the same after that. And so to study this man,
Wow, yeah, it sounds like it. A multifaceted person. It sounds like an emotional roller coaster also through the film, like, the camaraderie, and then at the end losing Dan Eldon, and what kind of effect that had on Mo Shafi. So you said it was kind of challenging, but how did you prepare for it?
Well, first thing was I did not have the pleasure of meeting Mohammed. Some of the other people working in the film did get to meet their real-life counterpart. I didn't have that pleasure. Mr. Shafi had already passed away. But there was a lot of footage of him. And what was key to my preparation actually was a documentary that Dan Eldon's sister, Amy, that she made, Dying to Tell the Tale, Dying to Tell the Story. It was a documentary she had made about journalists in conflict regions. And in the end of the film, she actually goes to London, to the very church where the saint that protects journalists, I forget his name, but she went and met him there, and he agreed to take her back to Somalia. And enduring a fair amount, from what I understand, is PTSD from having reliving these experiences. But my preparation was based on watching the footage that she had gathered, and then getting to being fortunate enough to speak to people who actually knew him. And then beyond that, finding a rapport with the actor playing Dan, this wonderful actor named Ben Schnetzer, and the rapport that we would have, and really letting our performances develop from there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was organic, but it was also a lot of study because I wanted to do justice to this really remarkable man.
Well, wow. It sounds like you relived the whole experience that they went through as well. Was there any challenges with the actual filming, like the location or anything at all?
It was a gorgeous filming experience because we shot everything in pretty much in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Nice, authentic.
And yeah, it was authentic to be in Africa. The story itself takes place in Mogadishu, and Mogadishu has a very specific look, as well as being a coastal city, and Johannesburg is in the middle of the country. So we traveled inland further to a place called Welkom, and they found this old mining installation, and they dressed it, and it looked like Mogadishu. And it was old, so it was all kind of crumbling and broken down. And when we had to recreate effects of war and like damaged buildings and stuff, it was kind of already there. Wow. So we were very fortunate, and so it was challenging to be in the middle of the country, but the visuals that our cinematographer captured, and the way that those visuals are matched by the artwork, which is all in the mind, and the creation of the director Bronwyn Hughes. It was really brilliant, and my biggest challenge, which was a testament to all the people who worked on the movie, was a day where we recreate a very climactic moment for Mo, where his heart finally breaks a little. He's kind of reached the end of his rope because he has to. He had this habit of meeting people from the subcontinent, so Pakistan or India. When UN rotations would happen, those particular groups of officers or soldiers, he would go and meet them. And in this case, he had just met soldiers from Pakistan. And on this day, he finds out that those Pakistani soldiers have been involved in an incident. And that was quite a challenge to film as an actor, as someone who needs to be there and really just reflect on what it's like to be confronted with maybe your worst nightmare. And that was, it was an honor to play it and to bring it to life, but also quite a challenge at the time.
Wow, sounds like the whole team put a lot of effort into it, and it sounds quite authentic, and it's also educational for people who don't know about the story of Dan Eldon and the team and the incident that we'll discover in the film. So now I'm excited to find out where is the screening happening once again?
The screening will be happening at 2 p.m. At Famous People's Theater. That's actually very close to the actual exhibit at Art World Fine Art in Etobicoke. It'll be happening at 2 p.m. on Sunday the 7th in conjunction with the exhibit that began on the 1st and will run until the 31st of May at Art World Fine Art, exhibiting all Dan Eldon's art. But the film, The Journey is the Destination, will just having a one-day exhibition at Famous People's Theater. And we do hope people will come.
We are going to be there, and we want to find out more about the artwork as well that inspired the film. But before that, it's time for a short break. Welcome back to Spotlight. We are talking to Mr. Gugun Deep Singh. He's in town for the Canadian premiere of The Journey is the Destination film and the photography exhibition. So Gugun, tell us a bit more about this exhibition.
Oh, okay. It's part of the Scotiabank Contact Photography Festival, which encompasses galleries all across Toronto. In this case, I'm appearing in support of the film, The Journey is the Destination, which is about the life of Dan Eldon, the artist that's being showcased at Art World Fine Art on Evans Avenue in Etobicoke. The film itself is going to be shown on Sunday, May the 7th, this upcoming week. And we're there to support the story of his life, because we feel that his life itself was incredible. What he achieved in such a short amount of time is really remarkable, and it is reflected in the artwork which you can see, and I believe some was available for purchase at the gallery. So we're very excited that people in Toronto will get to see the work, and in support of that, that's why we've also brought the film out.
Nice. So all in all, authentic and an educational, life-changing experience. So now, Gugun, I want to digress a bit from the film and come back to you as an artist. So what's next for you?
I've been working in some of my own writing, and I've been working with people in the capacity of a producer, helping them create their projects, but also because I want to learn a little bit more about the various disciplines that go into film and television, if only as an act of longevity, also because I would like to at some point be telling my own stories, and I have my own ideas. Some of them are, I like to think, original, some of them are adaptations, but certainly all taken from how I look at the world. In addition, I still, my main pursuit, I'm still working as an actor. I had the fortune of being on an episode of The Expanse, which is on, it's on Sci-Fi, but you can also find it on Netflix, just at the end of last season. And the fans were very kind to me, and I thank you, folks, for that. That was really exciting.
Because you're good. That's why you have good fans.
You're
yes.
very kind. But yeah, they responded in a way, and I just tried to reflect the truth of a man in that situation. And I appreciate their appreciation. It means a lot. And I want to just keep taking that energy forward into my future work. Later on this year, I believe, The Strain, which is a show on FX, that's coming back.
Big names, I must say.
Well,
nice.
I've had an opportunity to work with them on that show. Humbled by the opportunity. I got to work with a lot of wonderful people. I learned a lot working on that set. And I hope to continue to take this work forward. And at the end of the month, actually, I do get to do a little bit of theater again, which is also really fun. It's my first passion there. And I'm going to be part of something called the Secret Shakespeare Project. It was organized by this woman named Ellie Moon. And it's all Canadian artists, very, very talented folks. And what happens is yourself, as the audience, you would show up at the theater. You take your seats, you get comfortable. The show is introduced to you at that point. You don't actually know what you're seeing until you show up at the theater. And so you're watching us really run through the play for the first time. But you're seeing very expert players, some of the best folks in Toronto. And you get to just see us play, and it is an honor to get to work with them, because I'm not somebody who studied theater or performed all that much theater in Canada. I got to do a lot of it in the United States, in Los Angeles and Chicago and New York City. So in a way, it's also a way to introduce myself to the theater community here in Toronto, and it's. I always look forward to opportunities like this. Especially, it's not the biggest theater. It's going to be really intimate. You're going to get to see us really up close. You'll see us sweat. And that's always wonderful in the theater.
I just love all the diverse roles that you play, whether it's as an actor or projects that you have in mind as a writer and producer. I just love it. There's so much more to you than we can present today. Yeah. Is it some website or social media handle that we can follow you at?
Well, I'm on Twitter at Gugun Deep Singh. I'm on Instagram at Gugun Deep Singh.
It's easy.
Yeah, it's easy. It's really straightforward. I think I still have a Facebook page out there, but mostly the direct engagement through Twitter and Instagram is the most fun. I don't know. I'm not quite so great at it yet, but and I'm creating a new website too, so I suppose that'll get out there. I'll put that out through social media.
Well, we want to follow you and your journey with all these great projects that you are part of and going to be part of. Do you have any words of advice for artists who are watching us who want to be like you someday?
Well, they shouldn't worry about being like me. They should worry about being like themselves.
Well said.
Let's see. I guess I would say that art doesn't have to be lofty, but all art comes out of a place of necessity. If it really gives you a feeling and you need to express yourself, get it out of yourself, whether it's in the written word or through photography, like Dan found, or his collages, because he didn't just take pictures. He would then layer the pictures on top with visual art and writing and stuff, and the true beauty of his work were like these massive collections, these books, the first one, which was called The Journey is the Destination, these collections of his artworks, they're beautiful. And he had to wrap them with belts in order to keep them shut because they were so full of things that he collected. So collage work or visual art or music, poetry or acting or theater, a way that you express yourself, you have to start with yourself. You have to understand that it will not be easy. But if you manage to get it out of yourself somehow, it's no longer yours. It's actually something you've offered to the world. Oh. It's a gift. And also that means you really can't judge it anymore. It's for other people to take something from, and if they take something wonderful from it, that's great. That's all I can say. That's what I try to do, and I've had the fortune of working with some really wonderful people, and that's allowed me to grow as an artist and grow in my expression. Because I don't always call myself an artist. I'm there to do my job.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Well, Dan Eldon's life is on display with the film, with the art exhibition, and we are lucky that you and your team are bringing it to town. So once again, for our viewers, tell us where the screening is happening and where the exhibition is happening.
Great. The screening, it will be at Famous People's Theater. That's in Etobicoke. I think it's 343 Evans. Yeah. And the exhibit, which has already begun, it began on the 1st, and it will end on the 31st at Art World Fine Art in Etobicoke. I think that's 356 Evans, if I'm remembering correctly. I might have that wrong, but they're very close to one another. 2 p.m., May 7th. This is this upcoming Sunday. That's when the film will be shown, and we do hope you'll make it out. Hope you can make it. It's quite a remarkable film. It's beautiful. And it's incredible to think that in such a short life, he was such a prolific artist and inspired everyone who was involved in the film. The artwork itself, which is magnificent, the journals are there and the various artworks, and I believe some of them will be available for print. They're going to be available at Art World Fine Art, and we hope you'll check that out as well. You'll have that till the end of the month.
Well, I'll be there.
Oh, looking forward to it.
And the viewers are going to be there as well.
Great.
Well, thank you so much, Gugun, for coming and telling us not just about the film and the exhibition, but about yourself and inspiring all of us. We will continue to follow you on social media when your website is up.
Oh, great. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
So that was Mr. Gugun Deep Singh, who has inspired us to follow our passions, and then success will follow naturally. Well, that's a wrap for this week's show. Thank you for watching us. Continue to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and write to me at spotlight@ethnicchannels.com. Until next week, this is Amitha signing off, encouraging you to follow your passions.